Okay, so forget James Bond, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about someone real, a real spy.
Okay.
Aldrich Ames.
Ooh, yeah.
Someone who really shook things up
Right.
back in, well, whenever he was around. We've got some stuff he sent over about him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of wild.
It is. The thing about Ames is he wasn't some, flashy kind of guy.
Right.
Like a Bond, He
Yeah.
was just a normal dude at the CIA. But he was selling secrets to the Soviets.
Yeah.
Like for years, almost a decade.
Yeah.
It shows you that, the biggest threats can be the ones you least expect.
Right under your nose. Totally. It's the Cold War. Everything's tense. And this guy's living a double life. We know he was at the CIA, but how did he get to that point?
Yeah.
Like to betray the country.
I mean, he didn't start as a, super spy or
Right.
something. He was just a regular guy working his way up like everyone else. But he had some money problems. And he felt, I think, stuck in his job, like he couldn't get ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
And he wasn't happy with the CIA. Resentment, Yeah.
So it was sort of like the perfect recipe for, being vulnerable.
And the Soviets, I mean, they saw that, right? They took
Mhm.
advantage. It must have been intense, though, for him, the pressure.
Right.
Always worrying about getting caught.
Oh, totally. And, what he did had a huge impact. He wasn't just giving away information. He was giving away names.
Right.
Real people, spies in the field, risking their
Yeah,
lives.
that's what's so awful about it. It's not just abstract stuff, it's people.
Exactly.
Real consequences. Like in the excerpts you shared, there were agents who were caught. And some even killed because of him. Can you talk about a specific case to give us an idea of the damage Ames actually did?
Sure. There was this Soviet colonel, Dmitry Polyakov.
Okay.
He was actually secretly giving information to the U.S. for years.
Wow.
But Ames, he exposed him.
Oh, no.
And Polyakov was arrested in '88, and he was executed.
Oh, gosh.
And there were others, too, operations that were compromised. It really set back U.S. intelligence, big time.
Yeah.
Especially during such a crucial period of the Cold War. Wow. It's hard to think about those lives,
Yeah.
Lost because of this guy's greed and, his anger at the CIA. But speaking of greed, the way he spent money,
Oh, yeah.
not exactly subtle.
No, not at all. He basically had a sign saying, hey, I'm a spy.
Uh-huh.
The FBI, they were already looking into leaks at the CIA.
Right.
And when they started digging into Ames, I mean, it was obvious. He had a brand new Jaguar, a huge house, paid for it all in cash, fancy clothes, and get this, over $1 million in his bank accounts.
$1 million. In cash. I mean, you'd think a spy would know better, right?
I think so.
Like, hide it better. It's almost funny how sloppy he was.
Yeah, it shows that even the smartest people can mess up, get a little cocky,
Right, yeah.
And the FBI, they weren't just lucky to find all that. They used everything they had. Financial analysis, surveillance, they were tapping his phones. They even had double agents.
Really? Wow.
Feeding them information about what Ames was doing.
Sounds like a movie. But this was real life. With, well, those awful consequences. What happened after they got him? Did the CIA just try to sweep it all under the rug?
No, not at all. I mean, this was a massive shock for them. To realize that one of their own had been betraying them for so long.
Yeah.
They had to look at their weaknesses. The whole intelligence system was under scrutiny.
So they couldn't just ignore it. They had to make changes. Like, what did they do to make sure it wouldn't happen again? Another Ames.
Well, they made it much tougher to get into the CIA. More background checks.
Okay.
And they tightened up security inside the agency. Way more focus on catching spies in their own ranks. Basically, they tried to build up layers of defense.
Smart.
But it also brought up some tricky questions, like how much security is too much? Does it start to erode trust? And what about people's privacy?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Could there be another Ames even today? With all the tech and security we have now. I mean, we live in a world where information is everything, right?
Yeah.
Did that make us even more vulnerable?
It definitely creates new challenges. Think about how much data we produce every single day.
Right.
And everything's connected, all our systems. That means more ways for someone to get in, to find a weakness.
Yeah.
Technology can be a shield, but it can also be a weapon. It's a constant back and forth.
So what can we learn from all this? I mean, we're not spies, but, we live in this world too.
I think the big lesson is to be aware. We need to be careful with our own information.
Right.
Understand that there are vulnerabilities. The Ames case, it shows us that betrayal and spying, it's not just a thing of the past.
Yeah.
It's happening now, maybe even in more clever ways. It definitely makes you think.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.